Hello, my name is Maggie Cassidy, and I will be your student's advanced theater teacher this year. I thought we'd start off with a little bit about me, and then we can talk about the curriculum for the class this year, some of my expectations, and how kids can get involved. So we'll start with Meet the Teacher. If you go to my Canvas page, you should be able to click on any of these links to see this information as well. But so I have been teaching theater for 26 years. I have been teaching at Carmel High School for 19 years, and the 7 years before that I was at Bishop Chatard High School, which is also my alma mater. So I have lived in Indianapolis and Carmel my entire life. I actually have a freshman here this year, which is pretty exciting to finally have one of my own children in the school with me, and I have two other boys at Woodbrook. Go Lions! So I got my bachelor's degree from Ball State University in theater and speech education and theater. I was a double major. And then when in my first 5 years of teaching, I went ahead and went back and got my master's degree in theater education from New York University. That was a really awesome experience to live out in New York and to study theater education from the people who were essentially writing the books for it. So that was a pretty awesome experience. So I have many years of experience. I've been doing this for quite some time, and so hopefully I can provide your son or daughter with a great year in theater. So going back to the home page, some other information, we can take a look at the syllabus. I handed out a syllabus on the very first day of class, and then I have one here if anybody needs to see it. So there's just a little course description and the topics that we're going to be covering this year, which I'll go over in a second, and then our classroom guidelines. One of the things I feel like I stress the most is to build ensemble, which means that we are working together constantly to try to build a good rapport among the students in the class, so that as we go through the year and do all of our different performances or activities in front of the class, we feel confident and comfortable to do so. So that's something we've been working on now, and that's one of my biggest sort of guidelines, is just be respectful to me and to one another. Also, as far as phones go, of course, I do like them to put their phones in their backpacks, and/or I have a charging station that has some plugs so they could literally charge their phone instead of having the desire to ever pick it up or use it. We might use our phones sometimes. Sometimes we record ourselves. Sometimes they have scripts on their phones. So I will allow it when needed, but they're not supposed to be doing anything other than the required classwork on that phone. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing this year. So as I mentioned earlier, we're starting with ensemble building. Of course, we'll always incorporate some movement and voice and continue to work on those skills. And then we are going to spend a large focus the whole school year on theater for young audiences. I think this is really great for students who have made it through beginning theater and are still working on their skills, because theater for young audiences challenges us to be bigger and bolder and make stronger choices because we're acting for a younger audience. So what we did last year, we did this last year for the very first time, and I hope to continue the tradition for many years to come. Last year, this is a picture of it here on the syllabus, but last year we took our advanced theater students, we picked a show called Wayside High, oh goodness, I can't remember the title of it right now, but it's based off a famous book, and the students, we found the script and we cast the script and we rehearsed it in class, and then we toured it to 3 different elementary schools. So we went to one elementary school and performed it for the entire school, and the other 2 elementary schools we did back-to-back performances for different grade levels. It was a really awesome experience to get to bring our play to them. It was, even though we didn't have a whole bunch of outside of school performances, that was the group that we were, the audience that we prepared the play for was the young audience, and it was really a remarkable experience. So we hope to continue that again this year. I'm looking at 2 plays. I'm looking at, I like to do books that the kids know of or stories that they know, so they have a little bit of information going in, they have some context. So we're looking at Rainbow Fish, and we probably only perform it for the younger groups, or Pan, which of course is a shortened version of Peter Pan that I think would apply, be interesting for all age groups. So we're looking at those 2 and still trying to decide between them. We are working on another project right now, so we'll be getting into this touring production soon. Now, if you have any concerns, there's really no outside of school time. Last year, the kids wanted to do a production, a performance for their parents and friends, so we did do one of those, which was just one evening in December. It is on the calendar right now to do that, so if they would like to do that, we'll do it again. And then they really only missed SRT and their class period. So luckily G3 and SRT are back to back. So we would leave right before SRT, and then we would come back by the end of G3, and so they weren't missing other classes as we were touring our production. So it was really neat, and I'm really hoping we can continue it again this year. If for some reason it doesn't work out, I have plenty of backup plans of other things that we can work on. Second semester, we'll do some monologues and auditioning, and this would be, it's a monologue, but then it's also the audition to get into the repertory theater class. And then we continue with our young audiences, just that whole theme of the year. So the second semester, it used to be called Orchard Park, so I had to think about it for a second, but Clay Center, they write little stories called Young Author Stories. I don't know if any of you have sons and daughters that went to Orchard Park or Clay Center, but they write these young author stories. They send them all to us, the K through 5. They send them all to us. We read them in class, and then we pick stories that we think would make a good play. Every single student will adapt one into a play, and then we will choose 15 to 16 different plays, and we will go over to the school. We'll work on them for a long time in class, but then there's one day where you take an all-day field trip where we'll go to Clay Center and we'll perform these plays for the entire school. And it's really remarkable because, the kids that write the stories, they get honored, and then our students get to perform them, and it's a really great time. So I do love that. I've been here for 19 years, and that project has been going on since before I started working here. So it has been a great partnership for many, many years. To finish out the year, we're going to take a look at acting for the camera and how to get a job in theater. I know a lot of kids are not only interested in being on the stage, but potentially being in front of the camera. So we'll talk a little bit about tips and tricks for that. And then how to get a job, where to look for jobs, where to look for audition information, and things like that. On the back side of the syllabus, there's a couple things I really want to point out. This is the same as last year for my students. It's a new requirement if you had Mr. Steckbeck. But we do ask that everybody go see one performance of the studio-directed one-acts, one performance of Dracula, and one performance of Treasure Island. They are required to then write a critique over it. The requirements for the critique are in Canvas. But the tickets are $10, so if you go see an actual performance, it could be a $10 ticket, although we do have a discount code for all of our students so that they can get a $5 ticket. And then we also have dress rehearsals that the students could go to for free. So as long as there's a little planning, they definitely don't have to spend any money to go see the shows. But I think it's extremely important for them to, support Carmel High School Theater, but also to go see shows, see what the actors are doing, see how the direction is, look at the production itself, and you can learn so much just from going to see theater and then using that to inform your own performances. If you would like to look at the dates for those plays, we're on the syllabus, but we also have the calendar linked here. This is literally every single theater rehearsal and play and all of that for the entire school year. So this is not all the dates that your child would need to be here, but these are just, it has all the dates for all the productions, and it has all of our rehearsals for everything. But the one date I wanted to look at briefly was, yes, so here at 12/8 and 12/9, they do have time slated for us to do a dress rehearsal of our performance and then perform the touring show for our friends and family. It would be a free production and just for you guys to come in and see what they've been working on. So that link is in Canvas. We also have a link to the announcements. Announcements is where you're going to find any of the information that you might need. So we have auditions for Anything Goes, our spring musical coming up. We had audition information for our Studio One acts. And then this was one of the first announcements I put up that's just like a lot of information about auditions for the one acts and then our season for the year. So another place where those dates are. Let's see. Lastly, we have this is a link to a newsletter. So we have a behind-the-scenes parent club that anyone is welcome to be a part of. So if you're looking for a way to get involved, we'd love to have you as part of our club. But our president puts out a newsletter every month that says, what's going on in theater, what has recently happened in theater, congratulating folks, thanking folks. And right down here at the bottom, behind the scenes Club Carmel High School, this is the information about the club. Any parent is welcome to join, and you can just reach out to Brooke Miller if you have any questions or might like to join. So you may see some information about repertory theater. That is our next level theater course. So that's what that is. And we're always looking for, sponsors and patrons and folks to help support the theater program. So you can check out that newsletter. It's linked, as I said, in this Canvas page here. Whew. If you're looking for assignments, you'll find those in the modules. And I think that is all. Thank you so much for listening to this. And if you have any questions, the best way to get a hold of me is email. So just email me at mcassidy@ccs.k12.in.us. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I do, however, only work on gold days. I got a part-time gig about 8 years ago when my third child came along, and it's been really wonderful. But I do only work on gold days. So it could be a 48-hour window for me to get back to you. But thank you so much. Your kids are awesome, and we're having a great time.